Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful day so far. I got a good one for you today. Minister Freeland, our favorite finance minister, is back in Toronto doing a news conference. So we get to be graced by that today. But first, I would like to thank everybody who showed up that 500 subscriber live stream. Had a really fun time, and we will definitely be doing a lot more of those later on. And I guess if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And with no further ado, let's get into it.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here with a group of people who are so central to our economy. I think you could say that we are here in the beating heart of the Canadian economy. These guys are our circulatory system. So thank you very, very much. I'm grateful to you for your work, and I'm glad to be here to offer you a little bit more support. I am so happy to be here with my friend and colleague, Mary Ng, and my also friend and colleague, Ryan Turnbull. And thank you, Aliyah Ramji, for being here. Thank you, Louis Anastopoulos, for being here. Je suis heureuse d'annoncer.
I just want to say I'm not surprised. Her very good friend is Mary Ng, the mayor from Toronto, I believe, because from what I've heard, and I've never met the gal, but she's way more of an ideologue than Christopher Freeland. Like, you go up to her and it's like, whoa, okay, yeah, that's like Christopher Freeland's a lefty. You're way over there. We can't even see you. But let me know if you're from Toronto and can confirm or deny that.
We have been having some positive news about the Canadian economy lately. Inflation has been within the Bank of Canada's target range for the past 10 months, all year. That means more stable prices. And we had a Bank of Canada interest rate decision on Wednesday. Canada is now the first G7 country to cut interest rates the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, and with the bank's decision yesterday of a 50 basis point cut for the fifth time. This is good news for Canadian homeowners. It is good news for Canadian businesses, like the great entrepreneurs who are here with me today. So it's solid progress, but these are challenging times in the world, and there is more to do. Right now, we are in a global fight for capital, investment, and the good jobs they bring. Canada's prosperity depends on that. That's always been the case, but it is especially true today following the recent US election and the rise of economic nationalism. Now is a time when we as Canadians need to be assertive. We are fighting for capital. We need to own the podium and say, Canada is a great place to invest, and we are determined to get our share. Now, most of all, getting our share of capital depends on smart, hardworking, innovative Canadians like the people who are here with me today. But the federal government can do its part to help them out. And that's why I have two announcements about what we're doing today. First is about SHRED, the Scientific Research and Experimental Development Program. This is a key tool. It is about tax incentives for Canadian businesses investing in research and development here in Canada. This is the workhorse of Canada's innovation strategy. It supports over 22,000 Canadian businesses. A lot of Canada's innovators, a lot of Canada's R&D relies on SHRED today. We know that, and so today we are announcing that we are going to make SHRED an even better source of support, particularly for innovative Canadian startups. So the fall economic statement will include a significant historic reform to deliver $26 billion in tax incentives for Canadian businesses over the next 6 years.
So she says a lot about the cutting interest rates and how that's so good and that's the best thing ever. And it would be if it was just small cuts. So if the first time it goes down, went down by 5% or went down by 0.25%. Because if it goes down in large chunks, that's when it shows that something's wrong. Because it went up in large chunks during COVID, right? And we were just shocked when that happened. So that's why I keep saying that, because the Bank of Canada is dropping rates so quickly. I think it's because people aren't spending, don't have enough money, and we're in a recession. And people are poor, and that's why these rates are dropping. And what we're going to see is people are going to go back to what we saw before COVID, when things were when rates were rising, and they're going to be like, okay, rates are down. This is our last time to buy houses. We're going to buy them for as much as we can, or it doesn't matter the state of the house. It doesn't matter the type of house. We're just going to buy it, because if we don't do it now, we're never going to get it. And so housing prices are just going to rise like never before. And I know she's in Toronto and not in Calgary or Edmonton, but when she's talking about the fight for capital, I mean, there's a war happening in Russia right now, which is one of the biggest oil suppliers to the world. And we're the third largest oil supplier. We should be booming right now with our oil and gas sector. Now, I don't know if because she's in Toronto, she's trying to focus on more of the tech sector or the industrial sector and stuff like that, because Ontario is not particularly known to be too oil and gassy. But what do you guys think?
And here are the specific reforms that we are making to SR&ED. First, we're raising the spending limit for Canadian private companies to claim a higher 35% tax credit from $3 million to $4.5 million. Second, we're increasing the taxable capital phase-out range where companies can qualify for the higher credit from $10 to $50 million to $15 to $75 million. Third, and this is one of the reasons that we are here at the Toronto Stock Exchange, we are allowing Canadian public companies to also qualify for the enhanced higher 35% tax credit. That is good for startups that need capital, and that is support for our Canadian stock market. We know how important it is that we have an active, robust stock exchange here in Canada, and this measure is designed to support exactly that. And finally, we are updating the SR&ED program to allow businesses to claim capital expenditures again. This is reversing a cut to SR&ED made in 2012 by the Harper government. So all of this is really good news for Canada. This is about increasing research and development here in Canada. That is about driving higher per capita GDP. It's about creating more good jobs here in Canada. It is about continuing to secure Canada's national economic advantage, our economic sovereignty, our position as one of the world's leading economies.
Now, if an actual competent government came out and said all this stuff and made this announcement that they were going to invest more in technology, I'd be like, Oh, that's awesome. And that's the best thing ever. Let's do this. Become a technological hub of the world. But considering what happened to the Green Slush Fund, the scam scandal, the all the money we gave out during COVID to people who um, didn't need it, and people in jail. And last but not least, and the most important here, the Green Slush Fund, the SDTC scandal, which was for sustainable development technology. Sorry, I'm right. This was a fund created for technology, worked forever, and the liberals used it to fund their own pockets and their friends' pockets. So forgive me if I don't particularly believe that your enhancement to the SHRED program is going to be very lucrative for average Canadians. It might be lucrative for the Liberal Party and the people in the pockets of the Liberal Party, but honestly, I don't think the trickle-down effect is going to happen. I think we're going to lose more taxpayer money out of sheer corruption than we're going to get back from this.
The second announcement I have to make is about pension funds. Canadian pension funds have over $3 trillion in assets and some of the world's best investment expertise. They are envied around the world. And our pension funds invest Canadian money. They're run by Canadians who live here, who love Canada, and who would love to invest more here closer to home. So working with Stephen Pulose, the former governor of the Bank of Canada, we have been really actively talking to our leading pension funds and looking for ways that we could create more opportunities for them to invest here in Canada to make it easier for them to do that. And we've come up with a set of measures that will also be included in the fall economic statement. Before listing them, I do really want to thank Governor Pulose. He has worked really, really hard on this. He has come up with smart, creative ideas, and I know he has been working very collaboratively and effectively with the leaders of pension funds because they've told me that. So, what are we going to be doing? First, we're launching the fourth round of the Venture Capital Catalyst Fund with an additional $1 billion. This is designed to crowd in pension fund investors and provide venture companies with the capital they need to scale. Second, we are providing $1 billion to invest in mid-cap growth companies. These investments will be made by a qualified fund manager. The government investment will be structured as concessional, and 25% of private investment, and will be 25% of the private investment that will be crowded in. Why are we doing this? Because Canadian mid-cap growth companies today are still struggling to get the capital they need. This is about supporting them. This $1 billion investment will give mid-cap companies the capital they need for long-term growth and will be crowding in private capital. Third, we're developing a program providing up to $45 billion in loans and equity, working with pension funds, developing AI data centers. This is about securing Canada's AI advantage and creating good-paying jobs. Canada is a world leader when it comes to AI research. Toronto's own Jeff Hinton won a Nobel Prize just a few weeks ago in physics for his work on AI. We are good at this. We know how to do it. And the task at hand now for Canada is to use that intellectual advantage in AI to secure Canadian economic leadership in one of the most important developing emerging technologies. We've done that with an AI fund that I was in Toronto, I think, just a week ago announcing. And we're doing this now, working with pension funds to get more data centers built. Our cold climate helps. The fact that Canada is a world leader in clean energy helps. And this is really about securing a national strategic advantage in what is a challenging time in the world.
So to be particularly honest, like I said, that sounds awesome. Pumping more money into AI and a lot of these technologies. I just wish I could trust the Liberal government with our money, because we're going to have to watch where all this money goes, how much they're actually pumping into it, are they staying to budget, and like I said, where it goes. Because I can totally see this being another scam scandal, or an STTC thing where all of these companies that they give, like all of these pension funds that they give them to, that they're all tied back to Liberal MPs, or all these AI companies, they're tied back to the Liberal Party of Canada. Like, I could totally see that. Hopefully that's not the case, and hopefully this all goes well. I'm not going to speak too much on the pension fund stuff that she went over, because that's not my area of any expertise whatsoever. So put your comments down below about that and help me out with this, if you don't mind.
Next, we are making it easier for pension funds to acquire controlling stakes in Canadian entities. Currently, Canadian pension funds are restricted from owning more than 30% of a Canadian entity. We're going to change that. And then finally, we're working with airports and Canadian pension funds to explore measures for further pension fund investment on airport lands. Again, I really want to thank Stephen Pelosi and everyone he consulted. This is good news. This is an important step towards getting more of Canada's money invested in Canada. I just want to close by saying, right now, more than ever, Canada is in a global fight for capital. That has always been the case. It is true, more true today than ever. We have to be candid about the reality of the incoming U.S. administration. This is an administration that believes in America first. This is an administration which is proudly an economic nationalist administration. This is an administration which openly has a strategy of creating economic uncertainty outside the United States as a strategy to discourage investment anywhere other than the United States. We're realistic. We recognize that that is the case. And what we're saying today, and I'll have more to say about this in the Fall Economic Statement on Monday, is Canada is going to fight for Canada. Our government is fighting for Canadian jobs. Our government is fighting for capital. And the measures I'm announcing today on SHRED and the pension funds are part of that. We'll have more to say about what Canada is doing to secure Canada's economic advantage, to secure capital, investment, and good jobs in the Fall Economic Statement. Les annonces d'aujourd'hui concernent la facilitation des investissements.
So yeah, last up I'm going to say about that is she touched on airports and how pension funds, she's gonna invest in those airport pension funds. I didn't even know that was a thing. But now, along with investing in these pension funds, if she could only change the laws that only 30% Canadian-owned airlines can function in Canada, and like change that down a little so we could have more airlines in Canada and cheaper flights, that would be amazing. Because right now there's an oligarchy of like 3 airlines here, and our flights are so expensive, it's nuts. So maybe that could also be a way that she could invest in Canadians as well. Just a thought. I mean, just a thought. And it looks like it's getting a little bit late here to do the question period as well. So I think I'm going to do a separate video for the question period because I don't want to bury that in another video. So wait for that one. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, I have a buy me a coffee thing down below. You could just go to the link, and that is always appreciated. Other than that, have a great day.